Hello and welcome to FX Addicts Weekly Market Analysis. This is Tim, the Currency Professor, and today is Friday, October 4th, 2013. Well, we've made it now almost a whole week of the U.S. government being shut down, or at least 4 days, and we were missing some reports today, so economically we really didn't have too much today. PMI report out of Canada, a little bit lower than expectations. Otherwise, there really wasn't much to drive the markets today except for technicals, and we are having a little bit of movement here in a few things. So take the rundown here on the Euro US dollar, down about 68 pips, and we did get up here and make some very close to new highs, and then now we're falling back. So we'll see if we fall back and then make another stab and then go up higher, or if this is the start of a correction. Now in the stochastics here, we can see how we're making a new high in the pricing, but not in the stochastics. So that's a bearish signal, and we'll have to wait and see how that actually plays out over the next session or two. But my guess is at this point, then we're probably going to fall back at least to about the 134 area. That would then set us up to some support in that area, and we could then make one more stab up to the highs and maybe even make new highs. Now on the weeklies, we are ending the week on kind of a sour note, as you could say. We do have a little bit of a tail sticking up here, so that is kind of a bearish tone to it. Of course, it depends on how next week actually ends up. If it ends up lower than this week's lows, then it would be a bearish signal, but for right now it's just minorly bearish. And then on the monthlies, well, we only got a few days into the month and really can't derive too much from it, but we are up so far on the month. Pound dollar down quite a bit today, down at 125 right now, pushing down towards that 160 level. And again, it's kind of the same scenario here as we have in the Euro US dollar, where we made new highs on much lower, well, not much lower, but lower stochastics. So again, this is probably the start of a correction. Here we could get down to about the 157, 157.50 area, and then probably make another stab here at the highs, and maybe even exceed them a little bit, get up to that 163 level that we've been anticipating. On the weeklies, we can see this is actually a very bearish tone to it, so we may go down for a couple of weeks here and see how we actually proceed from this point, but it looks fairly negative at this stage of the game. So we'll see if we close next week below this trend line. If we do, then, well, all bets are off, and we're probably going to sell off for a little while. And on the monthlies as well, we're so far this month now we're negative, and stochastics are a little bit diverged there, so we may be in a spot of trouble here for a little bit. US dollar against the Swiss franc having a little bit of a rebound today. Up 80 pips, but we've certainly not even recovering close to what we've lost here lately, and we're really getting up to a level here now where we are, where we could say it's a bit of a resistance point. So maybe we go up a little bit on Monday and then sell off again, at least to test the lows. And if we look on the weeklies right now, this week is actually shaping up halfway decent. We'll see if this holds. If it does, next week then we're going to have to close at this level or higher and kind of have the same tail to it. If we have a much exceeding tail and close negative next week, well, then that's probably a very negative sign. We're going to see this continue on lower. On the monthly basis, well, we're just a few days into the month here, and we're just barely positive on the month, but overall we're still looking fairly bearish longer term here. So it's having a lot of problems. Once the U.S. government gets their act together, we'll probably see a pretty decent rally with the dollar. U.S. dollar against the Japanese yen, up just slightly today, up about 15. It's kind of the same thing here. We're just building a little bit of a base. We're really kind of coming to a point here. If we can draw some lines in here, and we're kind of coming to a point, so we're due for a bounce. We can see that here in the stochastics. So we could bounce maybe back up to around the 98, 98.50 level, and then probably make another stab at the lows. And here on the weeklies, we're just outside of this triangle, right on the triangular line. So we're pretty close to holding our own here, coming to a point and eventually moving up again once the resolution with the U.S. government gets straightened out here. And on the monthlies, we are negative for the month, and we're still straight across on this, so this is nothing more than a correction again, like we've been talking about. So longer term still looks good. We're just going to have to move this angle out a little bit on this trend line, which is actually a very good thing because this angle was much too steep. And so maybe this month and maybe next month we consolidate again, and then we can start working our way up again. Euro Swiss up about 50 right now, just about the 123 level, and pushing higher here. This week has been fairly up week, so we're having a little bit of a rebound. Can't really tell though if it's a Swiss National Bank in there trying to support it, or if we actually do have the start of a broader based rally. We'll see how we trade out now next week. If we come back down, test these lows, and then move back up, well, then we actually may have something meaningful here where we do have a rally. If next week we start sliding off again and we go down and make new lows, probably nothing more than some supportive measures here by the bank. So longer term we got to wait and see, but we're still range bound in this area, and eventually we're going to break out to the upside of the range. It's just going to be a matter of timing. Euro yen down today about 40, just above the 132 level, and we're just sliding back here ever so slightly in our way to rebound here to make some new highs. We jump out here to the weeklies, we can see how we're just on this trend line right now, and we are off of last week's rally up there, and coming back down this week. We do have a little bit of a tail in here to the upside, which is kind of negative, so we'll have to see how it plays out over the next couple of weeks. But technically we get out here on the monthlies and it still looks fairly good for us to jump up to that 137, 138 level, and we could do that really from this point. We could do that in a week. It really wouldn't take much to get us up there. This market moves very quickly sometimes, so we could see that happen very quickly. US dollar against Canadian down today about 28, 30 pips. We're just kind of falling back a little bit here. We ran up off of these lows because we were very oversold, and now we're having some difficulty going up and making some new highs. So more than likely we'll probably fall off here a little bit, come close to testing these lows. Maybe we get down around the 102, 102.50 area, and then we'll probably rally back up. We jump out here to the weeklies, we can see how we are making a base here, especially with all these tails in here. So we are making a base. It's just taking a little bit longer, and that we can probably attribute that to the mess in the U.S. government here. So again, once this gets straightened out, the dollar will probably find its way much higher, much quicker. And so on the monthlies here, we still look very good longer term. So nothing's really changed there. On the Australian US dollar, that is up about 38 right now, and we're grinding our way higher here, having a lot of difficulty moving up to these old highs. And if we jump out here to the weeklies, we can see this week is an up week, but we're no different than we were in the last 2 weeks. So again, it's not really a lot of momentum behind this move up, and we'll probably start to fall off here soon. If we cannot make new highs here in the next week or two at the most, we'll probably start falling off. And on the monthlies, we can see how this month we are moving up, but again, we're not doing it with any real vigor yet. Of course, it's only 4 days into the month, so a lot can happen. We could turn this thing around. It could be down negative on the month too. So we'll just have to wait and see here, but it's really not doing it with a lot of conviction, this move up, so it probably is going to fall back. That is it for today. If you are not a member of FX Addicts, please stop on by. More than happy to answer questions for you. You can reach me at tim@fxaddicts.com. Please check out our classes. We have started those up again, and also all of our different information that is available to all of our members. You can get a 7-day free trial if you have not already, and by all means feel free to contact me with any questions on currencies or interest rates. Thanks.